I say we can dance. We can dance. Everything is out of control. We can dance. We can dance. We're doing it from pole to pole. We can dance. We can dance. Everybody look at your hands. We can dance. We can dance. Everybody's taking the chance. Oh, well, the safety dance. This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley, Andrew Richter, deep from the bowels of our underground layer, the command central for what's going on in Minnesota.
You got all the controls right in front of your face there, don't you?
I do. I do. How you doing?
Great.
All right, good.
I do know the song.
Yes.
I'm not sure I know who sings it, though. The Safety Dance. But
yes. That is the title.
Oh, it's Men at Work or something?
No, the other one.
Men Without Hats.
Yes.
There we go.
That's it. And you know what? We got a bunch of people that are doing the safety dance here. They're not doing much else. No. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on.
Well, they're doing a lot of damage to everybody else.
They're dancing on our graves, and we're not even dead yet.
No kidding. They're pre-dancing to our. By the way, Jay, I want to let you know this. I talk a lot about all the sacrifices I make for our audience.
Yes.
Okay, all the
they are vast.
They are
expansive. Yes.
No question. And I stomached the State of the Union.
Wow.
Yesterday. No, I didn't watch it.
What'd you do? Think about it? Does that qualify as stomaching it? I didn't watch it.
Well, no. I didn't watch it live.
I see.
You and I were off doing a project that night.
Yes, we were.
I didn't watch. I attempted to listen to it.
Yeah.
Kind of. I had it on, but I wasn't watching. Give a speech. I just can't do that.
You know what? I think you got to go back and give it another chance and listen to Steven Crowder's take on it, because they did like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 version.
Well, that would have been better.
See, that was entertaining. I made it about 5 minutes and I still couldn't handle it.
Wow.
No, they were funny. I had other things to do. I had to move on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can understand that, but let me. I want to say my takeaway a little bit here on it, because I know everybody's expecting me to pan it, and I am, quite frankly, but for different reasons, I think, than most would probably think.
Yeah.
I'm always curious to watch a president and to watch what they are passionate about. Watch when they get all red is what's contagious in that stuff.
Right. And since there was no talking about ice cream or nap time, you had to dig deep, I assume.
Well, the president was passionate about one thing. The one thing he talked about that didn't involve this country.
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine.
Right.
He was passionate there. And while I agreed with some of the things he said, I don't agree with anything he's doing.
No.
But
how passionate can you be when you don't do anything?
Well,
here's the
problem.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about sanctions.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever examine whether sanctions work?
Yes, and from what I've heard, no, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at Iraq. Did sanctions stop?
No.
Anything? I mean, here's the problem. Sanctions, I think, will strengthen Putin. And let me explain how. The people who are going to suffer are the Russian people.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to suffer.
Yeah.
Putin didn't made this move knowing something was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So where did he go? The Chinese.
Yeah.
So if the Chinese are not part of any sanction, he also knows the West needs his oil.
Right.
So how is it then that sanctions of any kind, and I know I'm a traitor for saying this, but I like to see if things actually work rather than just rah, rah, rah in a speech.
Right. Well, isn't that politics? I mean,
Well, it
that's
is.
the essence of what
It
politics
is, but
been.
if we had real journalists in this country and we had real, people who really cared about solutions, we'd actually examine whether these things work or not. 99% of government programs would be eliminated if we discovered that they actually worked. Okay, so if we're going to establish that Putin had to know that something would happen.
Yes.
He certainly planned for it. This is something he's been planning for probably decades.
Oh, yes.
And we're now going to cut off his Swiss bank account. Well, as long as he has China to go to, as long as we're buying his oil, we're not cutting him off really of anything, are we?
He's already prepared himself financially. It doesn't sound like he's really going to be suffering at all. He can't send money internationally. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's shaking his boots. You know,
And Biden bragged about how the ruble has lost value.
Yeah.
You know who that hurts? Russian people.
yeah.
They're
You
the
think
ones-
he's in the ruble?
Yeah. Now their life savings is worthless.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened with the Weimar Republic. I mean,
Guy's probably rolling around in a pile of greenbacks or something.
If he was smart, he would sell
He's
debt to the United States and
Got
go
it
to
in crypto. I don't know.
then go to a digital currency and call it all in.
Well, go ahead.
I mean, that's ultimately the goal of China and Russia.
Well, that's
especially
everybody's
China
goal.
to displace the dollar.
That's everybody's goal. And I have heard. I thought this was a pretty adept analysis, and so Glenn Beck was talking about this. How we always think, okay, it's us, it's the free world against communism or Marxism or whatever, but really, there's three factions.
Yeah, this isn't the 1950s anymore.
Right. There's three factions, and people don't understand this. That you have the fascist, socialist nationalists, like Russia and China and Iran and those type people who are very nationalistic. They
Give whatever label you want on them, but I know what you mean.
and not that nationalism is bad, right? But they are very country centric. Like Russia is everything, China is everything, Iran, but still they're fascist and they're socialistic. Then you have the fascist socialistic international group, which that is your Great Reset. Those are the people,
The globalists.
that want to have international system of socialism and fascism, where through the public-private partnerships, they're working together to implement this top-down government to make you do their will. So then, where does that leave us? We're the last vestige of true independence and freedom. So you've got those three axes, I guess, or points of view that are all in play. You don't have the traditional Axis versus Allies anymore. You have these three things, and two of them are very bad.
Yeah, and a lot of them are in the United States that are very bad.
Right.
Let's not pretend that.
Right. Well, they're part of this.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
I mean-
part of the fascist socialist international group because they're buying into this whole
But
Great Reset theory.
It's corporations, it's bankers,
Yeah.
it's the elite politicians, it's donors,
Right.
it's foundations.
The World Economic Forum has just been talking about recently a digital ID, and we'll have to do some more research on this because I haven't had a chance to. But it's going to work like the social credit system in China, where based on your digital ID, you may not be able to get a loan. You may not be able to leave the country. You may not be able to vote. You may not. It lists all these things on their website, and so we're going to have to dig into this a little more. But if this is what we're facing, and you have people that are sold out to this kind of thing, it's so hard because I don't like Vladimir Putin. I don't like Russia. The Russian people, whatever. But I'm talking governments here. And everybody wants to say that Zelensky's a bad guy, because Ukraine is corrupt. Well, not everybody, but you have these people that are like, well, remember, Putin says he's going in after corruption and Nazism. There's no Nazis in there, and
So is Zelensky Jewish?
he's Jewish, yes. And then on the other side, you you have to topple this dictator, and I believe we do, right? But what they're looking to replace it with isn't so good either. So you have these two things that are fighting back and forth because one wants to be nationalistic, one wants to be international, and the people getting squeezed out in this scenario are those of us that want independent individual freedom. And so that's where we have to have a different mindset coming at this. Yes, there are still oligarchs in the Ukraine that did business with the Bidens and are corrupt as can be. Now, Zelensky, he came in during Trump's presidency, so it's a different deal. I mean, he wasn't part of that was in with the Bidens. But you still have all these oligarchs that are there in the Ukraine.
Money's all still there.
Absolutely. And they pumped billions to Hunter Biden. So you have to... Ukraine's not great, maybe, but he's trying to, from what I understand, he was trying to shape it up. But you've got bad guys on both sides, and
look, rarely is it black and white.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you can find fault with any leader of any country, including Winston Churchill, these people aren't perfect human beings,
right?
And let's be honest here. Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union for a long time. There's a lot of remnants still there, and the transition to a different kind of country is pretty rocky.
Yeah,
it was czardom and serfdom before that,
which was no picnic either.
Yeah, no kidding. So it's like I don't think it's a shock that kind of government can come out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get back to the state of the disunion here for a sec.
Sorry for the long
no, it's okay.
tail off.
It's okay because it's good stuff. And it's stuff you're not hearing anywhere other than alternative media.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what. I was looking at some polling of top issues that Americans are talking about.
Yes.
Okay, now whether that's gas prices,
Mm-hmm.
crime, inflation.
Yeah.
Guess the border.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how incoherent you can possibly get on a State of the Union. But those issues not only were barely spoke about, but what the president said was, I'd like to call it incoherent, but somebody had to write this and improve this. And the president actually said we need to secure the southern border.
I know.
The very next sentence, he said we have to give amnesty to everybody or what they call dreamers, to everybody that's snuck across. Now, because, of course, they're future Democratic voters.
Right.
So, I mean, this president has gone 100% in the opposite direction of saying secure the border. It should have been laughed at.
Right.
There. I mean, the only thing I'm thinking is he said it because he has to. That they've got some bad... Look, nothing's saving the Democrats in November this year.
No.
Nothing.
Well...
And let me tell you something. The Republicans are doing everything they can to screw it up because they have no answers for any of this stuff either.
See, those are the two caveats I would make on that statement. The Republicans can always screw it up.
Yeah, they can't tie their shoes unless it's together.
Right. And secondly is that it really I think it depends a little bit what the Supreme Court does with this abortion thing. Obviously I'm hoping that they come down on the side of the state. Right, and that they do the right thing, but it could have some reverberations where that could activate the Democratic base a little bit. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Okay,
but those are the two things that could possibly change things around a little bit.
Maybe I worry about the former more than the latter because I think. Independent voters, I think, are more apt to be in the mood of the country, and they'll forget about a Supreme Court decision a month later. Activists might not. But let me tell you something. Crime in this country
Yes.
is out of control. The president, of course, stopped short of calling out the people in his party that have screwed this up and continue to, namely county attorneys, namely mayors, things like that. The president, of course, fell short of that. And with energy, there is no strategy at all. There's nothing. And I think that's the one thing that is going to overwhelm him is you wait. I'm going to make a prediction right here that we're going to pay between $5 and $6 a gallon by July.
Yeah, it went up 15 cents today.
Yeah, and you know why? Because of Biden.
Yep.
Biden said, well, we're going to release some about a day's worth of...
Oh, no, half a day.
Half a day.
Yes.
And you know what the market said? The market said, boy, you don't know your ass from your elbow. They reacted negatively to that because that tells them there's no plan at all.
Right.
And I'm going to taste it. I mean, I always say this, though, about gas prices. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that, I think to a certain degree, the Biden administration wants high gas prices.
Oh, of course they do.
To a certain degree. They don't want it to destroy them, but they want people driving less. And so
electric looks a lot more sexy when you got...
electric has to be powered by something too,
exactly.
Jay.
Coal-powered plants or what's...
No, they coal-powered... And the Democrats have consistently opposed nuclear power, which is CO2 neutral.
Yeah.
And they've consistently opposed that in many cases. By the way, Dean Phillips tweeted out that we should, who's my congressman.
And congratulations.
Well, he's better than Ilhan Omar.
Yes.
That
true.
we should stop buying Russian oil.
Yeah.
Which would cost something like 600,000 barrels of oil a day, which jack up the oil prices even more.
Yeah.
Of course, we are financing Russia's war.
Well, I agree. We should stop buying Russian oil, but we should also turn on the spigots at 100%. Fill as many barrels as we can every day out of Alaska, out of the Dakotas, out of Texas, offshore drilling in the Gulf. Whatever we can do.
Anywhere.
Yes.
Good.
We should be buying it from South America if we have to buy it from somewhere, but don't buy it from Russia. It's 4%. We don't need it. We don't need it.
Yeah, I tell you what, though. I don't know who at the White House thought this speech was going to... I'm going to make a prediction, too.
Okay.
Now, I've hesitated on this. I'm going to say Biden in polls goes below Nixon. Below 26%.
He should.
I say by July, he's below it. So
the longer this Ukraine thing goes on, the worse it is for him.
Well, but I think the longer lasting thing is the inflation and all that.
Right.
I mean,
well,
all the wage gains
yeah.
that have been made, everybody keeps bragging about, they're being eaten up by higher prices and higher real estate because it's not natural.
Right.
And we could stop inflation tomorrow. The government could do it right now by quitting their spending, quitting their borrowing, and quitting handing out free stuff. That devalues the dollar.
But they won't.
And neither side will. Don't sit here and tell me Republicans are any better. They're not.
Oh, no.
They're just 90% as bad. So, I mean, you could stop any of this crap.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to make a prediction that he goes under 26%. And that's quite, you can't try to be that bad.
Is that in individual polls or is that the average?
Well, I'm going to say there's an individual poll out there that will show me 33 he's been at. That Quinnipiac now has him at 35. I'd like to meet the 35 because it just doesn't seem like anybody's really...
You're going to have a third of the country that is always like crazy to one side or the other.
They may be crazy to one side. They still may not approve of the job he's doing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a difference.
Well, that's
there.
true. I mean, when you have people like the Squad that really don't fully approve of Biden as well.
And I would say this. He can't pivot at this point. Funny, I read some articles that were trying to claim he was resetting or he was going to the middle, and I'm just of, what the hell? But it's too late for that. He can't. He could have done that 6 months ago, but for now he can't do it.
Right.
I mean, if you wanted his Build Back Gooder agenda, he could have gotten 2/3 of it passed 6 months ago.
Yeah.
He went for broke, and he failed. Now nobody's going to work with him.
Right.
And say, hey, forget it, dude. You're a pariah. I want nothing with your name on it.
We'll see. I mean, they're going to restructure some of that stuff, and I think they know Build Back Better's dead, but I think they're going to dismantle it and put it into different bills. So.
I don't know, because there's just no incentive to do it. I mean, there's no incentive. He could have gotten Republican votes. Look at that stupid infrastructure bill, which was terrible, and he got 19 Republicans to vote for it.
Yeah.
He could have gotten support 6 months ago. He ain't going to now. And there's no way a purple Democrat or even a light blue one's going to touch it.
Not this time of year.
Not now.
No.
So it's dead, and Biden has to take the blame for it. I'm okay with it. But ultimately, I mean, here's the other thing that struck me. The president did not claim one accomplishment.
Well, he hasn't had any.
Exactly. But how can you be president for 14 months and you have nothing to say that you can point to and say, okay, look, I promised this and I delivered this.
Yeah.
And he can't point to one thing.
No.
And that's incredible. I mean, that is just Jimmy Carter could point to accomplishments in his first year of office. Okay. Herbert Hoover could have point to accomplishments.
Yep.
Okay. And Joe Biden can't. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
It's been a disaster from the get-go.
And I'm cheerleading for success.
Jay?
We always cheerlead for America. I don't cheerlead for failure.
I don't want him to succeed in the policies that, I see as killing us, but I do want the country to succeed. And
I don't want the country to go to hell in a handbasket.
I want him to oversee that because I don't like this. I don't like what we're having to live through. Granted, these times kind of make better people, right? They can, if people rise to the occasion.
It always has in our history. If you look at it, though, it has.
Yeah.
I hope that happens. I mean, I want it to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll see. There's so much money floating around. So many more people can be bought off. And I guess we'll have to see. I mean, who are the people that rise to the occasion? Who are the people that are happy to get their payoff and stay silent?
I don't know. It ain't good.
It ain't good. No.
All right. Jay, on to other bigger and better, big back gooder stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is big back gooder.
It's something.
But I'll tell you quietly.
Yes.
Quietly. We have, and we're going to talk a little state stuff, but this is stuff, again, like everything is, that sort of trickles down to the locals. I mean, everything somehow, blank runs downhill. And I am one. We are talking about public safety, which we've talked about a lot over the past couple of years, you and me. We've done a lot of shows on policing, and we may repeat a few things here, but I to watch what's going on in St. Paul, which of course the legislature's in session, unfortunately for all of us.
Yeah.
To watch their talk about public safety, the governor and the lieutenant governor are on a statewide public safety tour. How exciting is that?
Boy.
Jay? You following them where they're going?
No. Are they wearing the little orange vests and the...
No, I'm sure they got their orange mask on, though.
Oh, boy.
And both sides, the governor and the Republican majority in the Senate, have announced plans for public safety. The governor's public safety plan, which is actually called this convoluted thing, the Plan to Protect Minnesotans' Health and Safety. Now, remember our show with John Augustine about one thing being addressed in a bill.
Right.
Health and public safety. Health and safety.
Right.
Sorry, but
really?
Your health care and the law enforcement are in no way the same issue.
Yeah.
They're not even close. So, but the governor has found a way to do that.
Yeah.
Let me quote Governor Walty. My top priority as governor is protecting the health and safety of Minnesotans. Funny, I thought it was the Constitution that you took an oath to. Oh, wait, sorry, forgot about that.
Yeah, not him.
Whether we're managing the COVID-19 pandemic, which, by the way, you've sucked at, or putting a stop to violent crime, which, by the way, you haven't.
Right.
We are always working to keep Minnesotans safe. Jay, can I say B as in B, S as in S right there? Governor Walz hasn't even attempted to do either. Mm-hmm. My plan to fund local law enforcement and first responders. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. That is not your job.
Nope.
With all due respect, Mr. Governor, you have nothing to do with first responders and local law enforcement.
Not at all. No.
He continues. Invest. Why do I hear that word all the time? Invest.
It's
kind of
like it's like invest is one of those words that they kind of think is like college readiness.
Focus group.
It's like college readiness. It's that kind of word.
Where are those soccer moms? Look out! Get that fan out.
Yeah.
Turn that fan on. Career path. Oh
yes. So invest.
If I were still single, Jay, I would go into a bar and just say career path, invest, college readiness. I'd have all the women just eating out of my hand. Okay.
Is that true? Well, you can't just say invest by itself. You invest in the youth.
Yes. Invest in community organizations and youth intervention.
Yeah.
And stand up. What? A stand-up statewide violent crime initiative that will allow for better coordination, more sophistication in what? The hell? I don't even want to read this. Comprehensive modern approach to public safety.
Yeah, it's a word salad. It doesn't mean anything.
Okay, and I'm going to say, you want to get a dumber statement? We got to listen to what our lieutenant governor says. Budgets are not just fiscal documents; they are moral documents.
You know what? I would agree with that statement, but
not how she's thinking.
When they do a budget, it's bad morals.
Yeah.
I mean, the
she
people
should be in a dunce hat in the corner.
The people that are elected to represent us really should be looking at each trust where I need to spend this in a responsible manner rather than woohoo, Dad just gave me $20. I'm going to the mall.
That's right. Dad gave me $20. I'm going to go steal 10 more.
Yeah.
Now listen to this. You want to talk about a paragraph of gobbledygook?
Yes.
Every Minnesotan deserves to be safe, protected, and valued in their community. Where do we read that? Oh, comprehensive plans and stuff like that?
Except that's also a load of baloney because otherwise they'd be prosecuting criminals and putting them in jail.
Yeah, or supporting our Second Amendment rights to be safe and protected. And every Minnesotan deserves health care to meet their needs. A place to call home, breathable air, and drinkable water. Can you tell me, Jay, where in Minnesota somebody is dying from drinking water? How about putting all the garbage in our water, like fluoride, that you keep putting in as well? Where's that?
Yeah. But breathable air, I get that. I mean, how many times do I drive through New Hope and I got to hold my nose all the way through?
Exactly. Down by St. Paul by the governor's mansion where everybody's choking. Our budget invests in those values to protect the health and safety of our neighbors. Okay, so now, Jay, the reason we tackle this is because I am of the look. There are a lot of police reforms I would support.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, not everything, but there are some things I would change.
Yeah.
And my feeling is that the lead on this needs to be from sheriffs that we elect, from city councils that are the ones that are overseeing mostly through city administrators.
Right.
But city administrators answer to the councils. They should be the ones doing this stuff. It really shouldn't come. What does Peggy Flanagan know about law enforcement?
Nothing.
I mean, she wouldn't know anything if it ran her over. I mean, No, she knows nothing. So, I mean, the idea that they're going to sit there, that St. Paul on either side is
Right.
going to sit there and bark out at cops what they
Right.
should or now, look, it's their job to make laws, and that's true.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the responsibility for this rests with sheriff's departments and with city government.
The state legislature, the governor, I mean, they really only have control over the state patrol.
Right.
That's
right.
their area of responsibility.
But we already have. By the way, if that's the truth,
Yeah.
why isn't the Department of Public Safety executive? Why aren't they doing all this stuff?
Yeah.
They don't need legislation to do that.
No.
They can add standards or change
Right.
policy. Are they doing that there?
Are they even doing anything with the state patrol, or is this just
I don't
all
he-
about local police?
I don't know. I don't hear a word, and I'm not ripping on the state patrol, by the
No,
way.
no.
I don't know anything. I'm not ripping on the Commissioner Harrington. I don't know anything of what he's doing. But what I'm saying is law enforcement's law enforcement. If police and cities have to abide by all this stuff, why isn't it being implemented already where you can?
Right.
Okay, listen to I'll tell you what. Here's
Okay.
how we're going to reduce crime and increase community trust. Governor Waltzy and Lieutenant Governor, I can't believe Peggy Flanagan is Lieutenant Governor. I'm sorry. Okay, I compose myself. Propose several grant programs as a critical strategy to invest, there's that word again, in the changing needs of communities as they address increased crime. Let me stop you right there. I don't care where you are. Addressing increased crime does not need a new program. It does not need a new grant. It does not need new thinking. Okay? It needs enforcement of the law, prosecution of criminals, and continuing the carrying out the mandatory sentences that if there's a conviction.
Right.
It does not need a grant program.
No, and let's look at what this grant covers, and you tell me which one of these is going to keep a guy like the guy that went to Waukesha and drove over people with a van, or these other people that get out and then go slaughter somebody,
The looters.
So here's the list. So they're going to provide funding for Minnesota's community-based crime prevention grants that fund such programs as probation.
Okay, so Jay, I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
Who are these community-based? Who are these people who are going to get this money?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is this some group? Is this the local government? I mean, when I see a community-based, is this some 501?
It could be very well, yes. By the way, and as we read through here, you'll see that there's more than just
there's some more B as in B, S as in S. More Barbara Streisand in here.
Yes. So probation. That'll stop them.
Is that a program?
I guess so. By getting people out early, then they won't commit crimes anymore.
Probation is something agreed to by
Yeah.
a DA and a
Right.
defense attorney.
A
Judge, we're going to let you out on probation once you...
I know that you beat up those 4 kids and ran over a grandma, but I've seen you do some good stuff in here, so we're going to let you go early. I hope you learned your lesson.
And if you haven't, we'll leave you alone anyway.
Okay, so probation. Youth services. That ought to get them. Truancy
Which is
programs.
what? What's youth services?
I don't know. Truancy programs. Well, keep them in school.
So they distract all the other kids from learning. Great idea.
They'll just commit the crime when they get out. Elder
So
abuse.
3:30, we can go rob the bank now.
Elder abuse prevention. Okay.
Kind of like Walls' nursing homes during COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Don't stick your COVID-laden patients into the same nursing home as healthy patients. How about we start with that one?
Neighborhood
watch.
So if we create a neighborhood watch, can we get a grant then from the
Yeah,
state
to do what? For the stickers you put in your window and
No,
the signs on the street?
The neighborhood watch is going to do what the police should be doing. It'll be vigilante. Well, if Kyle Rittenhouse is everywhere, if this happens. No offense on Mr. Rittenhouse, but what is missing from that was the situation that of how that occurred.
Right. Resident engagement.
That's just another.
What does that mean?
Term.
Yeah. What does that mean? And
you know what it means?
Yeah.
It means bringing all the activists together.
Right.
And saying, okay, how do we screw this up?
Right.
You know, bring Black Lives Matter in, bring Antifa in.
Right.
That's their community.
We need a human rights commission.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And then the other thing that there other community-driven intervention and prevention strategies, which means nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Yes.
the next statement is where I really get worried, because when I see the Walls-Flanagan budget invests, there's that word again, $300 million over the next 3 years to cities, counties, and tribes, encouraging and supporting new ways of meeting the. Let me interpret that. We're going to give you money, free money, to rethink your, to put Minneapolis style thinking everywhere.
Yes.
You're not just going to get the money, okay? But you got to rethink our evolving view of not just law enforcement, but county attorneys, judges, probation, all that crap.
Right.
Bail.
And they tip their hand here a little bit. Let's see. They say the budget also invests in recruiting peace officers who represent the population of our state. Okay, so that means we need more Native Americans, more
Check the
black people,
boxes.
more
Check the
Hispanic
boxes.
people, more, right. Even though you go outstate and you have, somewhere between 88 and 94% Caucasian.
Well, and here's the other thing. I mean, how can you spread? There's only so many people out there who want to go in. Law enforcement.
Exactly.
Law enforcement is a skill. Okay, law enforcement, you have to have certain training.
It's a calling. If you're
exactly.
if you're not passionate about the law.
Right, but this is not like hiring at Burger King. Okay,
Right.
You don't just go, okay, look, dip the fries in here and the dings when it's done. That's not what happens in law enforcement.
Right.
There's a lot of them have college degrees. I mean, this is not so simple. Some of them served in the military.
Yeah.
The idea that you're just going to force, that you're going to prioritize. Let me ask you this, Jay.
Yeah.
If you needed open heart surgery, you want the best surgeon you can find to do the job.
Right.
You don't care what color they are. You don't care about their sexual preference. You don't care about their religion. You don't care about. I want the best. I'm not going to ask them questions that check the boxes.
Right.
If I'm dialing 911, I don't care what color the police officer is, or the first aid people or whoever. I'm calling 911 for a reason. It probably ain't good.
Right.
So why, again, what is this with this constant, everything is about, I mean, every single thing is about skin color, whether somebody's gay, whether they have 4 fingers, whether they are transsexual, whether they have hemorrhoids. I mean, it's like there is nothing in here about ability. Like, they don't even care.
Are you just creating openings for yourself there? Or no?
I don't know, but just never mind what's flaring up over here. It's like, why don't we just hand out badges
Right.
as like participation trophies?
Yeah. But here's where they really tip their hand in the next half of that sentence. So officers who represent the population of our state and reducing violent crime by providing investigative support to local agencies. This is what these people do. They call out violent crime to take your attention off the fact that They don't care about theft. They don't care about armed robbery.
it's always
They don't
violent
care
crime.
about carjackings. They don't care
Human
about
trafficking.
human trafficking. Any of this, they care about. All they care about is they have this little carrot with a stick. Oh, look, violent crime. We're going to take care of violent crime, and they lead you in one direction. Well, you get mugged from behind.
Yeah, you get your bike stolen, or you get whatever. I mean, it's. I'm going to skip the next one.
Yeah.
You want to read it, you can. I don't want to read it. By the way, I should mention, Jay, just for the audience here, this is we're getting this from the governor's website.
Yes.
The office of Waltzy and I don't even want to say her name. And it's under the title of Governor Walz, Lieutenant Governor Flanagan announced their plan to protect Minnesota's health and safety. That's the title. You can go find it if you want to. So we're not BSing you. Here's another way to help our safety. Prioritize youth intervention and juvenile justice. Okay. The governor and lieutenant governor proposed providing resources to programs serving youths, whoever that is, including after-school activities, tutoring, mentoring. Sounds like more money for Education Minnesota.
Right.
And other services for the youth. The Walz-Flanagan budget also provides funding to develop community-based alternatives to juvenile detention. In other words, let me put it this way. We're not going to punish people for what they're doing, no matter how bad it is. We're going to establish community outposts instead.
Does that say outhouses? Oh, outpost houses.
Outpost houses. Yeah,
they're going to the. They're not outhouses.
Going to the oofta house. So,
I think digging latrines would be a great way to spend the time, but that's not what they mean here. Yeah, that's not what they mean. Sorry.
You go pick up garbage. You go down the street and pick up garbage and use condoms and whatever else is thrown out by people. Burger King wrappers. You go do that for a Saturday. We'll see how much you like it. You know?
You can even, if you find a little Mountain Dew in the cup, you can finish it. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all yours.
Oh, I love this.
Wait, so finish that sentence. What's the other thing?
Invest in truce youth conflict resolution centers.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell that is either.
Yes.
Invest what?
Truth youth conflict.
It sounds like you just want to. It sounds like you just want to
It's
increase.
more talking is all it is. We're going to get together and talk about our feelings. You know, they're used to it in school with the social emotional learning, and then they get together afterwards. I have a conflict. Let's talk it out. Who has the talking stick? I get to talk first, and then I'll pass it to you, and then it's your turn.
You know where they can shove their talking stick? I got a few places they can do that too. I want to move on to the next one. This is just dumb. Here's a way we can reduce crime. Legalize cannabis for adult use. Hey, you know what? It does reduce crime because you're taking something criminal and now not calling it a crime.
Yeah.
The governor and lieutenant governor know that Minnesota needs modernized solutions to harness the benefits of legalizing cannabis, including expanding our economy, creating jobs, although you're going to make a lot of North Minneapolis unemployed, and allow law enforcement to focus on violent crime. There you are again. See, if somebody's getting high and getting behind the wheel and driving off a cliff, well, that's not that. We don't have time for that.
But if they drive off a cliff and then land on a car that's on a level lower than them, then is that a violent crime? Probably not.
Probably not, because the intent isn't there.
Right.
Expand access to high-quality, affordable health care. Let me tell you something about government health care. It is never affordable. Can I just say that straight out? No health care is.
Right.
I mean, literally, no. And by the way, if you give somebody something for free, you're not lowering the cost. You're giving somebody else the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, I'll say this here. Republicans have no solutions on health care either. And you know what my solution is, Jay? Here's my solution. I never hear anybody in Congress or in the legislature complaining about their health insurance. Why is that?
Because they have really good health
So
insurance.
why don't we get the same thing they do? How about that for a solution?
Well,
Don't give me your BS money. You're expanding access to high quality. I don't want that. I want
No.
this. You know what, Walls? I want the same plan you got.
yeah, I'd like that too.
So there. That's my when I run for governor. That's my plan.
Yeah.
My plan is everybody's going to get either the legislature goes down to the rest of us,
Yeah.
or the rest of us get up to theirs.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Provide health care for Minnesota kids. Oh, gee, there's a new idea.
That's great.
Ensure every Minnesotan has a safe, affordable place to call home. So now that's.
Oh,
Listen to this. They recommend $10 million each year to create a
prenatal
Prenatal-
to pre-K housing? What? Prenatal housing is called a womb, isn't it?
prenatal housing.
I mean, isn't that like
I know education
That's
one-
called a uterus.
They've gone
Yes.
worse than education in Minnesota. Remember, they want to control kids from birth to college graduation.
Right.
Walls wants to do it from prenatal.
Get that kid while he's in
Yeah.
the fallopian tube.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Get him in a program before that umbilical cord is cut. The Walls Flanagan
is this?
budget invests $95 million in emergency shelter services. $95 million?
Wow. Why don't maybe they should talk
they-
with Habitat for Humanity? They could probably get it done a lot cheaper than that.
Well, I mean, do they have to have Netflix and even that's not expensive?
Right?
What are they doing for $95 million?
Well, I'm sure you get some of these developers involved, and look how much they spend. $20 million on a one complex.
Yeah,
you know,
they can expend anything. Oh, I love the next one. In fact,
Yeah.
I have something else to say on this first.
okay.
The budget enhances support, how I don't know, for youth and young adults, including LGBTQ youth,
You forgot the plus.
whoever they are.
Don't leave them out.
LGBTQ. I still don't remember what all that stands for. Except remember the Q is queer.
Questioning.
Question.
Yes.
Plus.
Questioning. Yes.
That
Plus.
means they have extra questions.
Is that what that means?
I don't know.
Okay.
Who the hell knows? I'd like to meet all these LGBTQ youths. They're people that you've poisoned is probably who they are. All of them experiencing homelessness with prevention services, housing units. You know what it's called? It's called parents.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. Call their mom and dad. It's their job to house them, isn't it?
Why would you give youth their own place? I mean, what do kids do when they get their own place?
Drink and play games.
After themselves, beefing up the foster care system. How about
That's a mess in this country.
Oh, it is, but
By the way, we're still on the plan to protect Minnesota's health and safety, by the way.
Yeah.
Still haven't heard much on police or anything like that. How do you like the next one, Jay? Address climate change to create a healthy climate change has to be involved.
Of course, because nothing is going to keep me from getting mugged more than addressing climate change.
Listen to this.
Yes.
I really want to dig into this, though, sometime.
Okay.
The governor and lieutenant governor proposal provides seed money to establish a green bank to finance clean energy projects across the state. Let me translate that.
This is the Great Reset.
We're going to
That's what
have
this
a
is.
slush fund
Yep.
of money that you can get for free if you build what we tell you.
Yep.
And how many local communities are going to do this? A
Yeah.
gazillion.
Right.
They're all going to want the free money as if they don't tax you enough. The budget proposes $54 million for grants to prepare our communities for extreme weather events. I'm sorry, this
Okay.
is Minnesota.
Right.
Extreme weather events, it's called winter.
Blizzards and an occasional tornado.
Right, but I mean an occasional
Yeah.
flood. Okay, you're telling me we don't have that?
That's a lot of sandbags for $54 million.
Where are the sandbags now? Somebody has them somewhere.
Yeah. $2.75
I don't want to read the.
$2.75 million to replace seedlings that didn't survive the 2021 drought.
Oh, that's a. You know what that is? That's a. What do you call it? Farm subsidy. That's a farm subsidy. Hell, I don't know.
No, that's on DNR managed lands. Well, that might be farms now.
Oh, goodness gracious. DNR, you might as well just burn it down.
Oh, boy. Yeah, a lot of drought stuff in that package. State-funded brownfield assessment grant. Don't want your fields brown.
Well, and by the
Yes.
way, just at the bottom, and I should just say this, there's a lot of nonsense quotes from, I would say, the governor's supporters
Yeah.
from all these foundations and housing directors. And, of course, you got to have Kim Norton, the mayor of Rochester, in there.
Oh, of course.
'Cause I'm sure they're going to get money with the slush fund. What are the St. Paul and Minnesota foundations? Cities have their own foundation. What is that?
There's a
It's like-
St. Paul Foundation.
right off their
Remember,
taxes?
they had contributed to what was the last podcast about? Sorry, a lot of living has
I
happened.
don't know.
You don't remember the last podcast?
Hey, Jake
That's so good.
Spano's in there.
Oh, really? Our friend.
No, I don't remember the last podcast.
Yeah.
What the
They.
hell did we talk about?
I don't know.
You're killing me, Jay.
Yeah, I know. The St. Paul Foundation had given money along with the McKnight Foundation and groups like that. So, yeah, it's just another one of those foundations. Yeah.
Okay, this is going to bug me because we talked about Southwest Light Rail
Yes. No.
2 podcasts ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that one. Wasn't that one. It was the last one.
You're killing me.
Sorry. Didn't mean to take us off the rails, huh?
Now it's going to bug me. I can't work now.
Oh.
Equity Alliance. That's
Equity
what I'm talking
Alliance. Oh. Yeah.
about. These things just come to me.
Yes.
So you can read all the people excited to get all the free money down at the bottom here. Jake the Snake, he's about halfway down. Same with Mayor Norton. Let me see. Yeah, they're all excited
Yeah.
about the free money.
Absolutely. Wow, that is a lot of quotes. Well, I will say that.
Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless. The executive director of Face to Face. I don't even want to know what that is.
No. I don't care to know what that is either, but
Probably
her name is Hannah Getachew.
probably spreading COVID. How about the Polad
Yes.
Family Foundation?
Oh,
Oh, got to have them in
criminy.
there.
How about they get the lockout figured
Yeah,
out
no
and
kidding.
then
SEIU. Hey,
Yeah.
wow, that's a shock there.
Oh.
So they got their who's who of you know.
James Hereford, President and CEO of Fairview Health Services. Of course.
Violence Free Minnesota, which I'm sure opposes anything that will. The executive director, Guadalupe Lopez. League of Minnesota Cities and Association of Minnesota Counties.
Of course. Oh, but the Republicans had some of their own ideas on this, right?
Well, I mean, you can call it that. I mean,
Yes.
and I'm going to say that a lot of this passes. I'm going to say
Yeah?
that a lot of this money, because
Of course it will. The Democrats will get some of what they want. Republicans will get some of what they want.
in exchange it for no new taxes.
Yeah.
The Republicans have have proposed cops create opportunities in public safety. Instead of saying, this is a local issue, and it's typical of Republicans. They just offer
Right.
their own watered-down version of the same thing.
Right.
Now, there's not a lot of the garbage in there, but stop and think about what they're proposing to spend $65 million on. Now, $65 million is, to me, a lot of money, Jay. I don't know about you, but I find that I find a lot of this very unnecessary. But the Republicans want to elevate law enforcement as a profession.
Oh.
And they want to spend $1 million to develop and conduct an advertising campaign to elevate the law enforcement profession. So we're going to get a propaganda pieces together.
Wow.
I mean, what would you call it?
Yeah, then that's what it is. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could call it recruitment, but you have to
Don't
paint a rosy picture of it.
well, don't they recruit already?
Couldn't they just play reruns of like Start
Well, why don't you tell
Starsky and Hutch?
Why don't you tell
Yeah.
or Dukes of Hazzard? Why don't you tell cities to do their own recruiting?
Yeah.
Create your own
Right.
thing. I mean, what is this a state thing? They're gonna hiring bonuses for new police officers. Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept when you have a union contract between a city and a police union that the state's not involved in. $20 million will be allocated to provide bonuses of up to $10,000. So how do you get who gets less than that? I'm kind of curious to know. The bonuses may be awarded after an officer has served a year with the hiring agency, in other words, the city,
Right.
and may be used for newly licensed officers.
So because you're new and you're here a year, you get up to $10,000.
Guess
You don't
so.
have to do anything. I mean, that's how in the corporate world you get bonuses because you do things.
Well, or you know,
Here you just have to stick it out for a year.
I guess so. But I mean, you and I talked off camera or off air. Is that permanent? Is this temporary?
Boy, yeah.
Because I mean, what happens after a year or two? Nobody gets the money. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. 1.5 million will be allocated to the award-winning Pathways to Policing program. Who are they?
Support non-traditional candidates for law enforcement who already have an associate's degree in another discipline. So does that mean non-traditional candidates like accountants? They have a degree in another discipline.
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
Pathways to Policing program. There's a link. This is an article from. Well, this is
Non-traditional, is that 55 and over? we're going to bring in, hey, I'm here
St.
for the policing job.
Pathways to Policing program. Listen
Okay.
to this. I'm going to read the first line, and you tell me this.
Okay.
It is a collaboration with St. Louis Park. Okay, stop there.
My word.
And several other agencies that began in 2017. The program is designed to remove barriers from non-traditional candidates who are interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement but may not have the means to pay for or availability to attend a 2-year program. The Pathways for Policing received a Program Excellence Award from the Community Diversity and Inclusion Program from the City and County, from the International City County Management Association. So can we just leave it at that as to
Gee
where,
whiz.
as to what that is?
Non-traditional.
So they're
Hey, we're going to put them into the system.
No, I'm going to put it to you in better ways.
Yeah.
If you're male and white, need not apply.
There we go.
That's the answer right there. Non-traditional.
I suppose so. Although there are plenty of minority police officers. There are plenty of men, plenty of women.
Again, I like ability, and I
Yeah.
like their
I don't
passion
care
for the job.
who you are, what your color is. Just please save me.
Yeah, exactly.
When I need it.
Do the job when we need you to do it. Don't kill anybody. It's not that hard. Okay, I shouldn't say that. It's not. I think
it's a very hard job. Hard job. But yeah, to not fall into
checking the boxes. We're not going to dumb down the standards so we can change the faces.
Right.
Scholarships for students who want to become cops. $20 million. New fund. I got an idea.
Yes.
You got all these foundations and things like that. Let them do this crap. I mean, seriously.
But the foundations don't want to fund cops. The foundations want to fund getting people out of jail.
Yeah, they want to fund both sides, is what a lot of them do. $20 million in new funds to the Workforce Scholarship Program aimed at increasing enrollment in associate degree programs in law enforcement. Drastic drops in enrollment in these important programs show a need for targeted dollars to allow campuses across the state to recruit local students who can meet post-board requirements and become police officers in our community. Now, post, I want to say, is the police officer training or police officer...
something like that, yeah.
Standard training or something. I can't remember what that stands for. And not to be outdone, we need financial aid for students seeking law enforcement degrees.
But
so
isn't scholarships financial aid?
I don't know. Either that, one of them is increasing the enrollment into law enforcement. The other one is when you enroll. Now they're going to give you the... So we're going to have a program to get them to enroll. Then we're going to have financial aid once they do.
Yeah.
So $20 million will be provided for students across Minnesota who are pursuing degrees in law enforcement. The grant would be $1,500 per year for up to 2 years of eligible recipients. This additional financial aid will get more students into the law enforcement programs. Education reimbursement.
Oh, more financial aid.
Yeah, so once you do it, we'll reimburse you after that. So we'll give you the scholarship, then we'll give you financial aid, we'll give you a bonus when you get hired, and then we'll reimburse you for whatever we didn't cover. This is conservative, isn't it? It's really conservative.
This reads like, help us, please. We don't know what to do. Come on, we got money. Come here. We got money.
How do we spend it all?
Please be a police officer. We got money.
Here, $2.5 million will be allocated to provide up to 5 Gs in tuition reimbursement for those recently licensed police officers or those currently in the pipeline to become officers. So if you missed out on some of the free stuff, retroactively,
you can go get some.
We'll go give you some.
Oh, that's awful kind of them. Wow.
All the while for an issue that the legislature really has nothing to do with.
Right.
Now, Jay, back up a second.
Okay.
Now, let's look at this from a local point of view. So you're going to have all of these grants, all of this free stuff, all of this bonus money, all of this. And what does any of this have to do? I mean, let's just stop for a minute. Ultimately, it is still up to the locals.
Mm-hmm.
It's still up to sheriffs.
Yeah.
It's still up to counties.
Yeah.
They're going to have to put through the BS of all this. And I don't see where we're going with this issue. I mean, I just don't. This is going to be more unfunded mandates and all that crap. And I just love that we're going to spend money advertising for law. I mean, that's just that's just great. Don't you think that's just wonderful?
Yeah.
And by the way, I want to mention something else, because if you go back to the KSTP article, there are other things in the works too.
Oh, as if that weren't enough, right?
Because the DFL majority in the House, while they do not necessarily have a bill here, have proposed a few other things.
Okay.
$40 million for innovation in community safety grants. $22 million for local community policing grants. What's a local community? Is that Neighborhood Watch?
It could be. Yeah, community policing. Absolutely, it could be.
I like this one. $10 million for
Opiate epidemic response grants.
to prevent opioid deaths. Opiate epidemic response grants. Well, what do you have to do? Have to have X amount of people hooked on Vicodin or hooked on Oxycontin?
Yeah, I don't know. Anytime you say that something is a response, you're already kind of behind, aren't
no
you?
Kidding. Yeah.
It's like, hey, we're going to respond to this. That means, I don't know, you're kind of too late.
But body camera grants. I mean, geez, Louise. Here's another great one. Money for the police officer standards and training to hire investigators to look at alleged code of conduct violations among police officers. So we're going to retroactively go back and hire investigators to see who we can nail.
Right. Yeah. So how does this going to work? So you have this police officer standards and training post board to hire investigators to look into alleged code of conduct violations among police officers, but they're also going to get money to come up with ways to recruit quality police officer candidates. So whose side are you on? Are you doing the investigating? Are you doing the hiring? You doing a little of both? You investigating the people you hire? You hiring the people you investigate? How does it work?
I know we're going to demonize the police and hire them at the same time.
Right. We're going to bring you on board, and then we're going to examine you thoroughly. It's again, I don't know. I mean, obviously, there are police officers that step out of line. They need to be taken through a process. There are too many that get off that are not held accountable.
And that's
what internal affairs is
that's
for.
That's been an issue for 100 years. I mean,
but I mean, you do have to close those loopholes. At the same time, I believe, and I'm just going to put it out there that I have a much cheaper solution to fixing this issue. We don't have to spend millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. We don't need $300 million. I don't even know if we need $1 million to solve this problem. That's how bold my plan is. When somebody commits a crime, you put them in jail. Let them go through trial. First, you have to charge them with the crime. Let them go through a trial with a jury of their peers, and then if they're found guilty, you put them away and you keep them there. And if somebody does have good behavior, maybe they get out after a certain amount of time if they're ready to get back into society. And if they do it again, you put them away for even longer. And you keep these people off the streets. That way, the people feel secure in their homes. The police officers feel secure in their jobs. And that will do wonders for recruitment. That will do wonders for how safe people feel in their own neighborhoods.
Well, I mean, I still come back to this. I mean, it's gotten silly to try to watch this kind of Texas two-step here that we're going to have safe communities, but we're not going to prosecute criminals.
It's stupid. It's like saying it's no different than the NFL, saying to a lineman, your job is to get the quarterback, but you can't touch him.
Yeah, no kidding.
You can't hit a wide receiver,
Right.
You got to let them complete the catch, and it's dumb. Dumb. You're telling somebody that they can't do their job. Who is going to sign up for that? Here's your job, but you're not allowed to do it. Who's going to sign up for that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how this gets fixed. And then not only that, but then when the criminals happen, you don't prosecute them.
Exactly.
You let them out,
Mm-hmm.
When it suits you or when it suits your politics. I mean...
And people who gave money to get rioters out of jail still haven't been held to account.
No, they're never going to be.
They're never going to be. No. But yet they want to stand up and talk about law enforcement when many of them gave to the fund that got criminals out anyways.
It's mind-boggling how we're ever going to get, back to... I mean, I sit here and I wonder sometimes, how did we get here? How did we get to this point? What?
Well,
let me just look at it like this. How do we get to a point where what we struggled for as a country under segregation was there were two separate rules.
Yep.
There's one rule for blacks, one rule for whites. Okay. How is it any different if there's one rule for somebody in poverty and one rule for somebody who has money? One rule for somebody who,
one rule for BIPOC people and one rule for white people. It's gone back to that.
Right. I mean, pick your box you want to check.
Mm-hmm.
One rule for gays, one rule for the rest of us. One rule for, violent crimes committed by person X, one for person Y. If you want equal protection under the law, you can't have, special treatment to anybody, or else it isn't right.
Yeah, but look at the people that make our laws. I mean, it's no wonder that they think this way, because there's been a special set of rules for the people who have been elected to office for a long, long time, and one set of rules for everybody else. So this is already ingrained in them as something that's completely acceptable.
No, it's been that way for a long time. I mean, a real long time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, do you expect anything else? People who expect to have a different insurance system than everybody else, people expect to be able to insider trade, and everybody else can't. One group is able to make really illegal deals with people over in China, and the other group can't.
Or Ukraine.
Yeah,
there's always one set of rules for the elites and one set of rules for the rest of us.
So they're just creating another set of elites is all they're doing, and they're doing it so because they need to put the majority of people in a box. Again, with critical theory, you are never going
equity.
You're never going to convince the workers of America that socialism is good because too many workers have it too good. So you need to create another victim class of people that are willing to feel oppressed and take it out on everybody else. And so you make that oppressed people, this is the whole anti-racism thing. You discriminate against the majority and then make gods out of these groups that you've made to feel like they're discriminated against or they're held down.
I'm going to say something too. It just reinforces so much how bad these county attorney races, because this can be undone.
Yeah.
A lot of this can be undone in prosecutions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it can be undone there.
Yeah, if we
electing judges, getting good people to run. I mean, that can undo a lot of the garbage that's being put out here.
Where are the conservative attorneys that are running for county attorney? Where are they?
I don't know. You can't tell me in Hennepin County they can't find an attorney to run. They don't care.
No.
Republicans don't care. Why don't we just say it? They don't.
No, as long as we As long as we
all about
run
the gov. All about the endorsement. The endorsement for this.
Got to have the governor, and then in 2 years we got to reelect President Trump. That's all it's about. And they're missing the entire picture. As important as those races are, the local races are every bit as important, and we're missing out. And our communities are changing right before our eyes because we have ignored them for decades. We've ignored them for a century.
Well, you keep saying we.
Well, when we were part of that system, I mean, it is because of our awakening in that we got out of that system.
That's right. That's true.
I mean, when you were in your 20s, in your early 30s, you weren't thinking about it. Neither was I.
No, I wasn't. I mean, it took what we went through to do it. I mean, and I will fully admit that that's the 100% truth. That it wouldn't have happened without the unfortunately horrible stuff we had to go through.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm fully with you there. But politics is upside down. And I'll tell you what, looking at these, because you're going to see now a race for the free money.
Yeah.
And most of this is going to pass. Don't tell me this isn't going to pass. We
of course.
both know it's going to.
Yeah.
I mean, not you. I mean, people think, we all know it'll end up in a bill in May.
Right.
And it'll get through.
And I think the Democrats will be willing to accept everything that the Republicans have proposed. And they're going to start from a position of having the Republicans, all right, we're going to accept your entire bill. Now we want you to accept our entire bill. And the Republicans cannot do that.
Yeah, but you know what they'll do?
They will.
They'll
I mean, a good
for
chunk of it.
No new taxes, or they'll accept it for no more masks or something like that. I mean, they will accept it. I have no faith that this is not going to be accepted pretty much in full. So this is going to be the new thing. And I'll tell you what, here's another thing I worry about, is this being done executively. Because you can, if the governor wants to, and I'm not giving him any ideas, he's too dumb to listen to me anyway, he can siphon off public safety money to the department. The department can hand out grants like this.
Sure could.
There's nothing stopping that. I mean, there's no law that says the department can't do that executively.
Right.
So look for a watered-down version of that to happen if this doesn't go through, which it will.
At least we're not cynical. At least we put.
There was that one time.
At least we give you the positive spin on things, huh?
Well, I mean, I'll just say this too.
Yeah.
Where have you seen any in-depth analysis of this?
Well, nowhere.
Where?
Nowhere.
I mean, it's all just, okay, which side's going to win? How do we...
Right.
I mean,
all the things that we've told you about tonight, it's just like, here's the money, here's what they want, here's what they want, here's what they want.
They're going to do any investigation as to where this money ends up, or who gets bailed out, or anything like that?
Grants to community programs. Well, what
and by the way,
exactly does that mean?
But here's something else I want to know.
Yeah.
Can these community programs donate to candidates? I want to find out that, because our tax dollars could end up going to campaigns directly or indirectly.
Oh, absolutely. And, if you have a candidate that is promising to do something about public safety, about public health, whatever, I mean, that helps, right? I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. No, I don't say so. But we're speculating on that. But I've just seen too many crazy things happen. I've seen too much money go places it shouldn't. I've seen too many programs pass that had no business even making it to the floor of the legislature.
Well, tell me, how many programs do we need, honestly?
Right.
How many do we need? How many grants do we effing need? I mean, come on. What is this? A grant fest? I mean, come on. How many? Honestly, I mean, I know I'm talking wacky here, but I mean, how many times can you invest in the local outreach And I mean, what point does it become okay? If all the money we've put toward this and nothing happens, okay,
It's not the money.
yeah,
It's
no
you.
kidding. So it's just
It's
kind of
you. You failed. Yes. And we do. We throw money at things and think that that's going to fix it. And we have all of these focus groups, and think tanks, and community organizations, and this group and that group, and we got this program. And
the worst part is we rename stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like when fabric softener comes out and they want to do, what do? They call it the new
right,
the new and improved Tide,
right,
the new toilet paper, the new Bounty. That's what we're doing. We're we've been doing this stuff since the 30s. This is no different. And look, again, does 10% of this probably work? Yeah. Why don't we do an analysis of what exactly works? We throw all this money at cop recruiting. What do you want to bet in 2 years, 4 years? There's no analysis happen.
It's kind of like class sizes. We throw all this money at it, and we're still struggling with class sizes decades later.
That's because the money gets allocated, and then people spend it on what they want.
Yeah.
So but that's the problem with having the state trying to funnel all this stuff, because there's no accountability.
Right.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, so have we solved the world's problems yet?
No, we haven't solved
it. We haven't even scratched the surface of the world's problems.
No kidding. The world's problems will take another 6 years for us to go through. But I want to see where this grant money actually goes. I want to see
good
who
luck.
these... Yeah, I know. Good luck. Well, it'll take you and I the next 50 years to figure it out. But, like I said, Jay, I mean, you're right. This crap's going to pass. Most of it or some of it. And we'll have no idea where our money went. No clue.
Mm-hmm.
Went to fatten some donor to this or that. That's where it'll end up.
That's exactly it.
That wasn't inspiring enough.
Yes. Now that you all are in a happy place.
We'll transition from that wonderful happy podcast, my friends.
Something much gooder.
Much, much gooder. Maybe the goodest. Community Solutions once again presents, with the sign-off sermon, styling and profiling, jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. Jason Bradley, take it away.
Thank you, Andrew. On that sunny note, well, things ain't looking too good, are they? We're living in an age of lawlessness, and we see it everywhere. I mean, whether it's not just getting mugged or carjacked in Minneapolis. I mean, we see theft. We see people just running through the on-ramp meters. Heck, I was talking to a friend of mine who happened to be in one of the local malls in the metro, a fine establishment. And out of H&M comes some kid holding a huge armload of clothes, like he was coming home from college to do his laundry. Nobody was chasing him out of the store. And my friend called the police, and not the police, sorry, the mall security. First time.
So hold on.
Yes.
So the guy from King of Queens came.
Yeah. So first time, yes, Paul Blart showed up. It might as well, but I would have liked Paul Blart in this instance. Might have actually caught the perps. But so the first call over to security, and said, "Oh, this number is not currently accepting calls." But then the second call went through and said, "Oh, yeah, well, no, I didn't know that. You might not have got through because I think somebody else maybe just left a message, and that might have been about the same thing. I don't know. So then a few minutes later, another security guard comes wandering over, and as he goes in one door, out comes a second kid with an armload of clothes out the other door. The security guard did not rush back out, did not chase down the kid. This is the problem. But how long is H&M going to stay in this mall? Not very long if this becomes a regular occurrence. This is Minnesota. This is not San Francisco. This is not somewhere along the Ivory Coast of the Pacific. But this is right here in Minnesota. We have problems, and we're unwilling to address the root of those problems because we have to coddle people that had a rough upbringing and chose to be people that break the law. We have a lawless society because we will not enforce the law. We have a lawless society because people can get away with breaking the law. It's that simple. We don't have to spend another penny on some program to try and figure out how to get our people to obey and live in an orderly fashion. I mean, this is not about heavy-handed police. This is not about going after one group of people. This is when people break the law, you put them away. Now, you need to have a fair set of laws and all that, and I understand that. You know, there are certain things where we put people away that maybe we shouldn't put people away. But as over and above, I don't think there's a person you can find that's not totally out of their mind that would say if somebody steals something, they should pay the price for it. There should be restitution. If somebody carjacks somebody, they should go to jail and there should be restitution. If somebody hurts somebody else, if somebody hurts somebody else's property, if somebody kicks somebody's dog, somebody needs to pay restitution, and there needs to be the law stepping in. That is equal justice. Doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter what gender you are or what you believe or don't believe. You are supposed to be protected by the law. But the problem is, none of us are protected at all by anything. The only people protected are the people breaking the law. That is the crux of this problem. And we can solve it overnight if we had a will to put people away and to prosecute crimes when they happen instead of making excuses for people and building programs that are all fluffy and feel good in the hopes that these people are laughing at you all the way to the bank that they are going to rob. They don't care. We have to do a better job. I mean, it's not just the police officers. It's us as parents having to instill in our kids, hey, you know, you have an identity and you have a purpose and a destiny, and there are things that you were made to do. No, you're not a girl. You're a boy. So stop it. Stop it. And then going and holding these school boards to account when they put together these programs that confuse our kids. It's about being able to go to your city councils and your county boards and saying, you know what? You are not handling this in a correct manner. And being able to engage them. Now, I know there are issues. For instance, county boards almost exclusively meet during the day when you're working. That's something that needs to change. But that's neither here nor there. There is a responsibility for us as parents and for those that are in the legislating business, the prosecuting business, the judging business, those of you who sit on juries. And we have to return to sanity because we're following this trail into utter foolishness. We're pretending, we're playing pretend that this stuff is actually real, that men can have babies, or that, I mean, just the goofballery of all of it. I'm sorry, there are two genders, men or women, and it's down in every chromosome of your being. That's the way you were made. But we don't have people with the political will to do a dang thing about it. This is our chance. We've got a nation that's slipping off the edge. Just look at it. Listen to our opening again. All of the stuff that is happening that I don't even recognize our country. Whether it's the economy, inflation, gas prices, our dependence on our enemy for energy, Afghanistan, the border, you name it. We have a responsibility. Our nation will continue to slip off the edge. Even if you believe that the Republicans are going to win in a landslide in 2022, do you really think they're going to do a whole lot different? They may turn our president into a lame duck presidency for the next 2 years, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to sit and legislate from the Oval Office. That doesn't mean that you're not going to see all sorts of things happen with executive orders and presidential signing statements. I mean, look at how much damage he did with just shutting down pipelines, and he didn't need the legislature for that. Opening up the border, he didn't need the legislature for that. The only way we return to normal is by building a resistance at the local level. The only way we return to normal is by having a group of dedicated people, moral people, that are willing to stand up and say, no, not in my city, not in my school district, not in my county. That's the only way. And then you make them come and beat you. It's a sad thing. But you know what? There are enough of us to change the landscape of this state. We've said it before. Local level, we anticipate there being about 30,000 elected and appointed positions to local government. We want to have 20,000 of those. That's 2/3. And that is really less. Now, it's about 2% even of all the like-minded people in this state. 2%. You know how? That's a sad statement. But we know that the people that listen to us have a different mindset. We know that the people who listen to us have a fire burning in their belly. That they want to do something. They want to see something happen. They don't want to sit around and talk in a group and then go home and complain on social media. They want to fix things. Well, we've got a way to make it happen. All you got to do is give us an email, commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. That is commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. And if you have any interest at all in the political world, and of course you do because you're listening to the show, then get a hold of us. We can help. We have helped many before, and we're going to help many this year, and we're going to keep on helping people till we can get this state right side up. So get a hold of us. Pass the word. Share this podcast. It's everywhere. You can find it anywhere you want to go. It's on your iPhone. It's on your Android. It's on Spotify. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on Deezer. It's on this. It's on that. You can spread the word. It's on YouTube. You can do anything to move the ball forward. You got to do it. This isn't a fight we win in the ones and the twos, the individuals. It is the individual coming together and using our corporate strength to overpower the enemy. That is the way we win. We can't do it alone. We love you, Minnesota. But now it's your turn to get to work.